It turns out that Disney is learning about one of the fundamental laws of the universe the hard way. Say it with me. Get woke, go broke. And that's exactly what's happening to Disney as we speak. Last week, Disney market shares dropped to their lowest value in nearly a decade. And now this week, it's being announced the layoffs are coming. Mass layoffs. In a memo sent to Disney employees, CEO Bob Chapek did confirm that the company was going to begin letting go of staff. And not just that, they're also instituting a hiring freeze as well as limiting employee travel. So it's a bit of a corporate bloodbath going on right now in Disney. Texas Congressman Lance Goodman summarized the damage well. Disney's stock is down 40%, mass layoffs, hiring freeze, limits on employee travel. Who would have thought a woke Mickey Mouse wouldn't be a hit? And that is the bullseye here. The utter ironic development in all of this is that this CEO, Chapek, is, of course, blaming earnings shortfalls, most especially their Disney Plus rollout that continues to be in the red to the tune of $1.5 billion a year for these layoffs. But Chapek may want to look into the mirror himself. That's right. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the wokest one of them all? You see, this very Disney CEO, Chapek, is the same CEO who thought it would be a good idea to pick a fight with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over signing of House Bill 1557, which was a parental rights law that explicitly prevented teachers from engaging in sensitive discussions about LGBT issues with kindergartners to third graders. Again, I stress, kindergartners to third graders. It was and it remains a very popular law on both the left and the right, interestingly enough. But Disney's CEO Chapek decided to go all in with the far left, the radical left, that rebranded the law as the Don't Say Gay law, claiming that it discriminated against Florida's LGBT community. So they had all of these protests at Disney. They were pushing back against this law, all kinds of woke activism. And it only served to do more damage to Disney than they could have ever imagined. All of a sudden, there were a number of protests outside of Disney World parks carrying banners and U.S. flags to protest the company's radically woke agenda and its opposition to the parental rights and education law that Governor DeSantis signed. A Rasmussen poll came out and found that parents disapproved of Disney's opposition to the law by a factor of 2 to 1. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, anyone defending the notion, let alone Disney, that teachers should be exposing kindergartners to transgenderism is going to lose. Okay, I'm sorry. There's just no, for right or for wrong, there's just no indication whatsoever that our culture is anywhere near supportive of such a concept. It's just not happening. And then the Florida legislature turned around and retaliated against Disney. They officially stripped Disney of its self-governing power and special exempt status in Florida. You may not have known, but for the last 50 years, Florida Disney had a special self-governing status that allowed it to act relatively autonomously from Florida law. I found this out firsthand. You're not going to want to miss this. But first, as always, we do take care of each other here on this channel, and this isn't the first time we've had to weather economic insanity brought about by inept and incompetent so-called leaders. What have patriots throughout the ages always turned to keep their assets safe from enduring economic downturns? You know the answer: gold, silver, commodities. And that's where our good friends over at Goldco come in. They're here to help you protect your savings in the midst of bumbling Biden's absurdities with the timeless value of gold and silver. Make sure to click on the link below and see how you can get upwards of $10,000 of free silver if you open up an account with them. $10,000 of free silver. But that is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click on the link right now and keep your assets safe with the timeless value of gold. So we had a Turley Talks company meeting down in Orlando back in April of last year, and we picked Orlando specifically because Florida was free while so many other states were still enslaved to the mask mandates. But then when we went to dinner at the Disney food court, which is open to the public, it's outside of the Disney World Park. It's a part of it, but outside of it. When we got there, they refused to seat us. because none of us had any masks. So while it was illegal to require masks throughout the state, Disney had the legal right to make up its own laws and require them. Well, those days are over. DeSantis signed into law the revoking of that special legal autonomy that Disney had for 50 years. And what was the end result in all of this crusade for woke values by Disney? According to the Washington Examiner, by April of this year, Disney had lost over $50 billion in market value since picking that fight with Ron DeSantis. It was a total wipeout. Ron DeSantis utterly crushed Disney, and that is what's ultimately behind these layoffs and hiring freezes going on right now. Earning shortfalls are not to blame. What's to blame is the CEO's bumbling idiocy when it comes to one of the fundamental laws of the universe. And you know how President Trump memorably described it as what?
Everything woke turns to shit, okay? It's true.
And it's true. It's true. Just ask these employees at Disney. Ask the employees at Facebook or Meta, whatever the hell they're calling themselves of late. It was just announced that they're laying off 13% of their workforce. It's a total of 11,000 jobs. Facebook's crumbling. And of course, this is all after Zuckerbucks admitted that they had been working with the FBI to actively censor news stories that were damaging to Biden in the lead up to the last election. As it turns out, millions upon millions of users in the United States and Canada have had it. They've closed their accounts. They've dumped Facebook. In fact, Gen Zers and millennials basically barely even acknowledge that Facebook exists. And as a result, advertisers are taking their business elsewhere, and Meta's revenue is evaporating. Needless to say, they've been closing offices. They've just announced that they've terminated their lease for one of their Manhattan offices. Other offices are shrinking as they transition to hybrid work from home. And of course, there are now the inevitable layoffs, and like Disney, thousands of them. So we'll, of course, be keeping an eye on the continued implosion of woke corporations, very important as part of the culture wars, as more and more companies inevitably learn the hard way. Get woke. Go broke. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on NBC News projecting who indeed is winning control of the House. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.